know what time it is.
How it all works.
Come on.
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 How it
Okay. Couldn't hear me. Look at that. My bad. Listen, I'm using a new platform, trying out Restream, and totally forgot that part is different in Restream. So let me start again. What's up, family? It's your boy Kirk. We're back on the channel once again for another episode of How It All Works. 5:30 Central Standard Time, 6:30 in the East, 3:30 in the West. And yeah, we have, man, this is what we have today. We got these. Oh, actually, that's what's on the show for next week. My bad. Man, we have been enjoying ourselves this month with audio production. All right. And first week, we did the voiceover world. We had Alvin Chia, Michael Logan. Second week, we did the writing process. Man, that was phenomenal to talk to the writers. And we had Gail Jones Murphy on, we had Damian Chandler, we had Crystal Carr, and then we have today the music workflow, and that's not going to be any different, man. Special. We've got John Stoddart and Roberto Burton. Two maestros, I mean, absolute beasts in their own right. And we're hoping to pull somebody in from the audience as well. So look out for the show question. You guys got to let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Go ahead and take a second and share the stream. And if you have not already, we just encourage you to subscribe to the channel over on YouTube, youtube.com/KirkRNugent, or just go to howitallworks.com. Works is spelled with an E. And we will get you situated. Thank you so much for taking the journey with us, man. We have a power pack show today, so I am not going to belabor the point. We're going to get right into this thing with our first guest, Roberto Burton, Roby, as we affectionately call him, or Maestro. We're going to get into that right after this. Yes, indeed. We have the maestro himself. Roby Burton is on the live. What's up, man?
First of all, Kirk, can we talk about that intro, bro? Can we have a discussion, sir? I mean,
yes, we can. Yes, we can.
I mean, first of all, let me say what's up to Justin. I see you there, bro. But can we talk about this? I mean, Kirk, we're going to get to me in a second. Because, I mean, dude, you've been putting in some work, bro. I like what I see.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, man. We got to test some things out, man. We got to throw some things against the wall, see how it works, see how it all works.
That ain't throwing it against the wall, bro. That's some work.
Man, I'm looking in the comments too. Whoa. Okay. All right.
DMV, New Jersey, Massachusetts.
I see you. Yeah, man. This is great. Oh man, appreciate it. Yeah, testing out something new, In the other platform, it unmutes you automatically. In this platform, it doesn't. Hey, what are you going to do? It happens to the best of us. But this is live. This is what happens live. You just got to keep rolling with it. Man, Roby, how are you?
Man, I'm going to start deflecting again. Again, Austin is talking about the jacket, bro. I mean, look, y'all, in the email, he said, come casual. And this man has a sports jacket on like he's ready to talk at The Price is Right. I mean, for real? Man. I mean, really, guys? Really?
Oh, my goodness. Cue the music.
Yeah, what's up, Namdi? What's up, Chris? I see you guys. What's up?
Marcus Jones says Detroit is in here. Austin Humphreys, the jacket. Oh, my gosh. Watching from New Jersey. GP is on here. DMV is in the house. Yo, Jamil says he's tuning in from Wakanda.
Hilarious.
Priceless, man. Priceless. But, man, listen, I'm going to try for the third time to ask you, how are things going? Roby, how are you?
Man, I am great. Sandra and I just celebrated 10 years of marriage this past Sabbath.
Let us clap that up in the comments right now. Come on. 10
years. Her birthday is
at.
Today. Her sister's birthday was yesterday. So her mom and her sister in 2 rooms over making dinner for her while she's teaching class right now at 5:30.
Let me tell you, I thought my November was packed but my wife and son are in November, but you got the anniversary and the sister-in-law, man. That's crazy.
Bruh.
Wow, man. Wow.
Bruh. Saturday night, I had a catered dinner. One of my producer friends, who's also a chef, catered a dinner. He brought the food over. I had, candlelight dinner for them since they've been watching kids and doing some other stuff. Thank you so much. But yeah, man, just had to make that happen. Yeah, Delroy talking about that jacket needed his own agent.
Listen, this was so we talking about birthdays. This was a birthday gift from my wife and kids, man. This was a birthday gift. I love a jacket, so they know me. But yeah, man. So Roby, let's dive in, man. Let's dive in. I listen. We got John Stoddart waiting in the wings. We got to be quick about this thing today. So here's our first question. Take us through your workflow, your process. Take us through, help us visualize, and whenever you're ready for me to try and pull up something to play it, you let me know.
All right, here's my thing, and when John comes on, I've got his section.
Right.
For me, workflow looks like this. For 2020, it's all been about virtual choirs and virtual orchestra stuff.
Yeah.
So 10 times, I mean, that's all I've been doing. Like, as of we speaking, Lloyd Mallory is sending me scores that I have to input. Like, no, seriously, we're in the live right now, and I'm checking my phone. Like, there's 6 of 8 songs I got to do. The workflow goes like this. I get the PDF. From the PDF, it goes to Sibelius. That's the music writing program.
Sibelius, folks. Let's pause here. Sibelius. Okay.
Yes.
Sibelius. For those who are taking notes, this is go ahead.
I've been a Sibelius person since 2001. I'm actually now a beta tester for the program. So every time the new program comes out, I've not only had my hands on it, I've been a part of the crash team. That's my job, to make Sibelius crash, to say, hey, we need to fix the code in this. Hey, this is not working. So that's one of the things I do. From Sibelius, we're going to Logic. Logic, I'm going to load some sounds just so you can hear what the score is happening. But in Logic, I create a tempo map.
Nice.
From that tempo map, MP3 is sent out with instructions for vocalists to start recording their vocals or instruments to.
Okay.
From there, I now get video back. So you know that the issue is I got to extract audio from wheresoever, mix that down, and then send that back to the video people. That's just 2020 in a nutshell. That's probably 50% of what I've been doing.
Woo.
The other half, and you can pull up the flyer now, Kirk.
Yeah. Here we go. Let me take down this message, and then let's get this flyer. Yep, the other half. Go ahead.
The other half is I've been working on this program that Justin's a part of. Yeah. A virtual living Christmas tree with First Baptist Church, CBS, and WHNT. It is a full 90-minute production that we started in January, and we're kind of like on the downside of it. My job is to not just mix the audio, but be the audio producer for it.
Wow.
We mix. There's 120 people in the choir, and there's about 60 in the orchestra, plus orchestra players, plus committed, plus other artists. Now, first thing people said is, ooh, how they did it in COVID. So glad you asked.
Come on, tell them.
We split the choir up in a very large gym and only allowed about 20 or 30 per session. The max was 22, I think, one night. So imagine microphones all around a gym. They're at least 20 to 30 feet apart. Yeah. But what we got was the room, and that's what we wanted.
Yeah, the room, right.
So we got them and the vocalists. So between the space of a month, we recorded maybe about 6 or 7 songs. There's another 20-some to go, but we're editing and mixing and doing all those things together.
My goodness, man. That is amazing.
That's what I've been busy doing. You can actually now play a clip. I think it's called Have Yourself. The Have Yourself clip. I'm giving you 22 seconds of what the string section sounds like in the room so you guys can get a chance to hear that. It is unmixed. There's no EQ, no compression. It's just raw. I mean, raw in the room. Y'all take a listen to that first.
Here we go. It's gonna play it's gonna play right through my mic. So you let me know if you hear it. Christmas. Oh man, you cheated us, brother. You cheated us, man.
I faded you right at the point where they come in because legally I'm not allowed to share that, but I'm allowed to share music. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
So tell me, I want to dive. I want to take go a level deeper, if you don't mind, man. In terms of Sibelius, and you're putting you've got all the different tracks. What's your process? How do you mix it down? What do you look for? What do you listen for? Talk to us about your process. Come on.
The mix down process. Well, before we get to mixing, right now I'm at the editing phase.
Okay.
I've got like 80 some tracks per song. And my goal is to sit and dive in frequency wise. What's going on in the room? Are there choir members turning pages? And I gotta, copy cut and paste this part. How do I get this thing sounding clean before I add a single plugin of EQ? Does it sound right before I start going in? Because once I dive in for real and start carving and EQing, that's it. But for me, I gotta organize stuff. So when we're talking about mixing here, here's the type of computer I'm using, because a lot of people need to understand processing power.
Yes, please talk about it. Right.
Currently, I have 2 MacBook Pros. The one we're looking at or using now is a 16 gig processor with a terabyte of storage. Wow. I'm running OS 1011 El Capitan for a reason.
Okay. Taking it back.
Yes. Yep. I have another MacBook Pro that I use for just recording, 16 gigs. I've got a 2 terabyte worth of storage. I have also 22 terabytes of physical storage on hand.
Oh, wow.
With another terabyte online as well for Google Drive stuff. I've needed that processing power because it's just the track count has just gotten that big. Y'all probably just saw Cameron walk in the door here. So that's just my process. When it gets to mixing, anything can and will happen. I always ask the people who are producing it, "Hey, what are you sounding?" Exactly. Yeah,
Patrick Graham.
Get it. Yep. Yeah. The newer software, the more problems. Like, I have not upgraded because nothing that Apple or these programs, they never talk to each other. They just start upgrading without saying, "Hey, this is what's needed." So for a producer, it's like, I can't get the new stuff. I have to get all new stuff.
Wow.
So, like the new Pro Tools just came out, and it looks wonderful. I cannot touch it. I can't touch it yet.
Too many projects in the works. Got to stay with what you got. Listen, that is a pro tip right there. So, man, that's good. Listen, so walk us through. You sent 2 clips of the same video, right? Mm-hmm. Or better yet, the same song. I am gonna play a small portion of your clip because that's the one that will more than likely not get me in trouble. Right. So please talk to us about why there are two clips of the same song, and of course, one is you and your group, and the other is not you and your group. Talk to us.
All right. The first clip you'll see is a song called "Trust Me" by Richard Smallwood.
They're not going to see that one.
Oh, they're going to see that one. Oh, okay.
No. I'm not playing that one.
Okay, great. I love you too, Patrick. By the way, what had happened was Richard Smallwood was doing a tribute to his group for being around for 25 years. Richard Smallwood, we all know who he is. No introduction needed.
Yes.
But because my mentors are people he's worked with. Darren Atwater, the conductor of Soulful Symphony, I've been his copyist for the past 7 years.
Nice.
And then also, who's the other guy? Stephen Ford. He's the department chair of Eastern University, and I've been his copyist as well. So between those 2 men, they've changed the way I see production and changed the way I've seen orchestration in a whole new way.
Let's just say hi. Let's say hi to little man real quick. Hi.
Everybody say hi to Cameron.
Hey, Cameron. You got your own keyboard, man. That is what's up. Listen. We're not too official where we can't take a second to talk to little man. Come on. Hey, little man.
Cameron's on the new Nord Electro. I just bought that 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Since I bought it, this boy has been on it. So I'm letting him have it.
That's good. So, yeah, man. Listen, that is phenomenal. Okay, I'm gonna try and cue up this clip where you and your group are singing the same song. And so, did you? Maybe I'm cutting in too quick here. Did you finish that explanation in terms of why the difference? Yes, the difference between the 2 clips.
The difference between the 2 clips is mainly one. Darren Atwater. Yes, he is getting big, Kenny. Darren Atwater has given me permission to kind of start my own Soulful Symphony here in Huntsville.
Nice.
So since I teach orchestra on campus at Oakwood and I have my own group, I'm going to start doing some things together, orchestra-wise and performance-wise, to kind of just change the face of what's going on in Huntsville. Even in a COVID season, I have enough where I can, use 6 or 9 people and then a small string section. So this was kind of like a test run of, hey, can I actually do it?
Right.
I have some great students. I'm about to have some more in January. You'll see more of them there. But that was the whole thing. And then bottom line, I said, yes, sir. After that, Richard posted his version of the same song about a few days later because he saw it and loved it. So,
oh, wow.
That's the reason why I sent you both clips. It was like, if you see the date on mine, 3 days later, he puts his version of Up from the Stellar Awards. So,
nice. Okay.
He got the connection. So there we go.
Okay. Here is that clip. We're not gonna play the whole clip, but man, that's fire, Doc. That's fire, man. Yeah. So walk us through the process to put the at least the orchestration on that together. And then Pat has a question here, that we can maybe touch after you give us a walkthrough.
Well, of course, thanks to COVID, I've had no rehearsals with the group till that Sabbath morning. So we went through a full year of not seeing each other, just talking to each other on Zoom. They've been learning music since then. Also, my string section, same thing in class. I've just been saying stuff. So I didn't get a chance to put all that together till that Sabbath morning, an hour before.
Oh, wow. That is amazing, man. But okay, so in my I'm a novice here, so
okay.
I may even ask the question wrong. But what I'm hoping to get from you in the minute or two that we have left before we bring John on screen is what. So you put together the actual orchestral piece for that song. Am I correct?
Yeah, I wrote out the chart, sent it to Stephen Ford, and had him check it, and said, "Hey, how close is this?" And he told me I was spot on, because
that's the piece. So talk to us about actually writing out that chart. What is your process to do that part of the project?
Just like any jazz enthusiast, just like they transcribe jazz music, I do the same for orchestral or band or any type of choral music. I sit down and just listen to the parts and isolate and see what's happening. And then I just write out what each part, is doing. And then I put the articulation together. Now, I learned all this from our next guest that's coming on, and I can prep him. I can set him up whenever y'all are ready for this.
Good.
So, but yeah, a lot of the stuff that I do now is because I've spent a lot of time with John learning the little stuff.
Right.
Not just writing the notes, but making sure your score looks good so that there's no need for a rehearsal. So all the bow markings, all the tenuto stuff, all the just stuff that needs to be in the score. And string players are real sticky about that, but that's my biggest thing, making sure everything's there.
Good. That and that is perfect. I mean, again, folks, I want to make sure that we are scratching where you're itching, if you will, because this is his process, right? Well, we're not trying to be prescriptive, but we want people to get a kind of behind the scenes peek at what that process looks like. Here is a song that he did not walk in with the orchestral score. He actually put together the orchestral score. And so here's some of the details, some of the nuances, some of the little known things that he needed to do to make sure that not only was it going to work, but that even as he walked in for presentation, right, that Saturday morning, he was able to run it through with the orchestra and actually perform. That's amazing. That's amazing. Roby, man, I am excited that you are here with us. Excited that you're going to be back with us in just a little bit after we do a quick interview with John Stoddart. We're excited to have him. We were having some difficulties, but let me tell you, the Lord we serve, he worked it out.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna jump into that in just a second. But I want to ask our audience a quick question, because we're going to select somebody from our audience to join us on screen. And so here's the question: what is your go-to music production platform? So this, we can answer on screen. What's your go-to, Roby? You said Sibelius earlier, but what's your go-to?
It's a process.
Okay.
Pro Tools is the final step. I'm a Pro Tools person, and I have been since 1999. But thanks to what's going on now, I am a Logic person. I am a Studio One person. And I also, Studio One, Logic, and Pro Tools are my audio go-tos when I'm doing productions. They're for different things. But that's for audio production. We haven't talked about orchestration yet, but those are my three. But my go-to is Pro Tools to mix for now. Nice. Folks, I'm going to leave this question up for just a little bit. We're going to transition. I see Pat Grant saying Pro Tools. We're going to transition. Yup. Whole Tones Productions is saying Pro Tools. You know what? We had Corel on a couple weeks back. I'm going to listen, Corel, man. We're going to send you the link. Corel, you're on the hotspot, and I hope that you'll click the link, because we want to bring you in. So Whole Tones Productions, Corel Holness, we've had him on a couple weeks back. This guy was talking about making his own microphone. I was like, what? So yeah. Okay, all right. He said bet. So cool. We're gonna bring him in. But I want to leave this question up. What is your go-to music production platform? Right as we transition, I want to play this clip from a YouTuber that I follow. His name is Henry. He goes by Henny. And his channel is one that I think it is worth your time to actually go and check him out, because he's doing some phenomenal work. And I think you're going to like this one, Roby. When we come back, we will be with John Stoddart, and we'll be able to talk through a little more what his music workflow process is.
That was fun. That was fun. That was fun. So, folks, if you get a chance, take a second to check out Henny the Business on YouTube. Follow him. That guy is a genius. John Stoddart. Wow. Sir, how are you?
Man?
It's so
I'm good.
good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you clear, man.
Awesome,
It's so good to have you.
We were having some.
Yes, we
having
were.
some technical difficulties, so I just want to make sure we're good to go.
Yeah, no, man. And I'm so glad that we're able to, I mean, even if we don't get a chance to share screen today, man, even just to have the conversation is going to be enough, man. But again, tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
I'm here in my big chair. You see my chair, right? I'm in my chair.
Yes, indeed, man. Today. Yes, indeed. Well, tell the folks a little bit about yourself for those, for the one or two who may have been living under a rock and don't know the greatness that is John Stoddart. Please tell the folks a little bit about, yourself and your relationship to this whole music workflow process.
Right. I have to start by saying that I met Roberto Burton back in. That's how I always start my CV. No, Roby and I kind of grew up together in Philly, so this is really cool that we get to be on here together. Yeah, I've known him. Allegheny East Conference, man. Suburban Philly. Yeah, so it's really, really nice.
Allegheny East,
I've been
man.
in the music. Yeah, exactly. So I've been in the music industry working as an artist, an arranger, producer, songwriter, and pianist, and educator.
Yes.
Just as much as I can get my hands into, I try to stay as diverse. Try to keep my hands in as many pots as I can.
Yeah.
Just because that's how you make it in this business. You gotta cast lots of lines out there.
No, that's a pro tip right there. And so, man, if you guys can see under his lower third, johnstoddart.com, take a look if you aren't familiar, but I'm certain that the folks that are tuning in, we're seeing them in the chat right now. Folks are like, man, you messed up my night with Roby and John. So, man, our
Pat Graham.
Yes, indeed, man. Our first question for you is going to be the same question that we asked Roby. We want to walk through your music workflow process. Talk to us about different platforms, applications, things that you do to streamline things, and different things that maybe the average person does not know, and even the person who may even be in the industry may not know.
Right. So I think probably a good place to start is to zoom out a little bit and say that when I'm starting, because I mentioned some of the things that I'm into, from performing to producing. So I think it depends on the project and the style, genre wise, what you're doing. Your workflow is going to be different. So I came up with just 5 or 6 steps that when I think about my workflow, give us a bird's eye view of how I tend to approach a project. And these are things that I think are applicable no matter what's going on. These are steps that I have to go through. So my first step is that I assess. So when I get a call to do a project, your first step is you want to get a sense from the client. What is this project going to entail? Is it, Roby was talking a lot about orchestration. Is it an orchestra project where you're writing for live orchestra? Is it a MIDI orchestra where somebody has already done the track and you're adding orchestra to it? Is it a jazz record? Wow. Are we preparing this for a concert, or is it a record? So all of these things go into understanding how I'm going to approach the project. And then the next step is to actually begin to create. And the creating isn't actually an interesting, I think, part of the process, because again, it's going to be driven by your assessment. So I'll give you 2 examples. So last week I was working on a big TV production. So there's some recording involved, but there's also the TV thing involved. So, but I'm working primarily with live musicians, but they're artists coming in, and I'm the music director. So I'm trying to get a sense of, but my boss is the TV producer. So I'm delivering records, but it's not it's a little different than if it were a record producer, because there are video components to take into account. Another project I worked on earlier this year, I worked with an artist. We call these vanity projects. So she's not signed with a label. She used to work in the music industry. She's been raising her family for the past 20 years and is wanting to, they're older now. She wants to get back into her music.
Back into it, right.
So with her, so we spent a lot of time with her doing artist development. She spent a lot of time as a background singer and really didn't know who she was as an artist. So we spent a year and a half on her project, picking songs, trying songs, recording stuff, doing, not full production, but trying to give her a sense of, or give her an opportunity to discover who she is as an artist. Right. So those are just two examples of how the create part, you really have to assess first before you know which direction to go.
Yeah.
And so you got the create, then you edit. I have a good producer friend of mine by the name of Dis Ross, who we always talk about the last step in production is deciding what stuff to keep and what stuff to throw out.
Wow.
And a lot of times there's lots of great ideas, but it's like writing a great book, making sure that every word and every paragraph is essential. There's no wasted words. Wow. Same thing with production. You complete the project, you deliver it. And then one thing that I think is really important that we don't talk about a lot is archival process. So I always make sure I'm putting stuff in a place that where if I have to get back to it, I can get back to it. The same TV show I was talking about, we ended up recording and doing a song that I worked on with another producer friend of mine. I did the orchestration. His name is Aaron Lindsay. And I wanted to use some of the tracks that we originally recorded on this record 5 years ago. So I called him. I said, "Hey, man, do you have that stuff?" And he said, I'll get it to you tomorrow. I think it's on another drive. So he was able to go back to that year. He had developed an archive system.
Wow.
Where he could go right back to what he needed. He sent it to me the next day and I was able to use it in the production.
Wow.
So that's kind of an overview of my sort of overall general workflow.
That's good, man. That is good. I mean, that is excellent. Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the comments and yeah, they are resonating with what you're sharing, and there's wisdom in every aspect. So definitely, there's a lot of moving. You got to consider what type of project you're doing. So, and that's going to influence the types of, or I guess your path towards completion. So that's really good. Yeah. That's really good. And definitely you've shared kind of a wide breadth of some of the projects that you've done. So not just your own singing and not just your own, mixing and leveling and stuff like that, but also things that you've done even for TV movie production type stuff. And even for personal projects, like you said, a vanity project for an artist. That is amazing. And I'm hoping that folks are really picking up and gleaning these nuggets of wisdom in the chat. I wanted to ask you this one last question, just two questions we have for you, and then we're going to bring everybody else back on screen. Can you share with us a recent project, something, and you've shared a couple already, but something that stood out to you, something that had a unique thing to it, that really speaks to the music workflow, or the workflow that you have to, something that you have to work through. Go ahead.
Great. So I just finished another project. I heard you speaking with Roby about how to evaluate sort of production software or equipment, or how do you decide which platforms you want to use. And again, I'm a list person, so I have 4 qualities I look for. One, the platform that I choose needs to be intuitive. Not that I don't want to read the manual, but if I can't get going without reading 100 pages, then chances are I just don't have time. I don't have time to do that, So I don't mind reading manuals. I don't mind looking for hidden features and learning about software, but I want to be able to hop on and be able to get in and sort of, it feels like, oh, this makes sense the way this works, right? Yeah. So intuitive, reliable. Platforms, there's lots of platforms that are really, really cool, but you just don't know whether they're going to always work. So as cool as they are, it's like, man, I would love to be able to, but when you're under a deadline or you're in the field or you're working with a new client, it looks really bad to have stuff crashing, and that's just not good. So it's got to be reliable. Something that I think is being more and more critical nowadays is collaborative.
Wow.
I think, one of the things that that COVID has done, I mean, this is not something new, but I think it's become even more critical, is platforms that are collaborative going into this next decade. I think are going to have really great success. And then flexibility, platforms that allow you to do what you need to do, like they don't pigeonhole you into having to do it a certain way. There's lots of flexibility to customize workflow and use the features that work best for you. So you asked about a recent project. There's an artist friend of mine. She's based in the Maryland area. Her record just came out. Her name is Denise Barclay Thompson now, actually. When I met her, she's Denise Barclay. So some of you may know Denise. Well, Denise just released a record. It's on all the digital platforms. And she called me. I've worked on all the records, probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them that we've done since over the past 20, 30 years. Right. And when we started on this particular project, her plan was to come to Huntsville, where I live, and record. And then COVID happened. And so all that got shut down.
Out of the window,
so,
right?
Out of the window. So I was trying to think, man, how can we still do this project? So she had sent me some demos, ideas as to what she wanted to do. And in listening to them, I said, the recording quality in these demos is not bad. So I asked her what equipment she was using. And they had a mixer and I think some sort of voice recorder and a microphone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they had done these demos to this voice recorder. So I said, hey, what if I did the tracks at home?
Right.
Logic Pro is free for like the next 90 days. Apple was running a promotion. Yeah. You guys have a Mac. Go ahead and get Logic. I recommended an interface for them, a digital interface. I think they got the one of the Focusrite family USB interfaces.
Yes, perfect. Mm-hmm.
And long story short, I gave her husband a quick tutorial in Logic. I would Dropbox them sessions. They would record 3 or 4 or 5 vocal tracks and send me back the sessions. And I would, comp her vocal and do whatever editing I had to do on my end. And we literally did her whole record that way.
That is amazing.
And we sent it to Tony Shepard out in LA, mixed it. And so we were able to do a whole record without actually seeing, I still haven't seen her, without seeing each other over the past probably 3 or 4 months we put this project together. Yeah.
That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. What a experience and talk about just using what you have. And I love the fact that they were willing to just get in there, buy the equipment that they needed at home to be able to do that. That's phenomenal. The workflow has absolutely had to shift some because of the current pandemic. Right. And so that collaborative piece and, the list of items that you mentioned are critical in choosing or selecting platforms for music production. That is so good, man. That is so good. I want to grab a couple of comments here before we bring in. I think Corel is here now with us in the backstage. Roby's still here. Thank you for not leaving us. But I want to grab a couple of comments here. Pat's just been lighting it up. He's like, have you ever thought of releasing anything again? And I'm assuming anything.
The song,
anything. Yes.
Yeah. I have. I'm thinking about doing a live version. In COVID, that was one of the songs that I recorded. One of the countries where that song did really well was South Africa, and they just celebrated Women's Month about 2 months ago. And that was a song that I performed. You might even be able to find it. It's a live performance of me singing anything from my house, piano, vocal. It is okay. Let me think of the channel. I got to look it up, but it's the big R&B station in South Africa.
SABC.
The name is escaping me. Yeah. So if you hop on Facebook, those performances should still be up. I'm gonna look up the title while we're talking. So thanks, man.
I'll try and see if I can find that.
Appreciate that song.
I'll see if I can find that.
I'm gonna look too.
But I have a fan of yours in my ear saying, "Well, why can't you just give us a small piece right now?" We have and
the station is Metro FM.
Metro FM.
I do anything for you. I do anything.
Woo.
If you won't let me to, I do anything. Anything just to be with you.
Oh my goodness. We are having way too much fun today. Listen, we're gonna bring the rest of the crew flatline. Somebody said the private chat is lit up. The people some of our crew in the backstage are like, my goodness. Listen, we're gonna get everybody on screen. I'm gonna play one more quick clip from Henny. I'm gonna get everybody on screen and we're gonna wrap this thing up. But man, John Stoddart, I cannot thank you enough for coming and sharing your unique perspective on, the whole music production process and what you use and some of the, metrics that you use to gauge certain systems. Let's dive into this clip and let's go ahead.
Before we go to the clip, I agree with Roby where I think the Pro Tools is, for my money, the best sounding DAW.
Oh, yes.
I prefer to work in Logic, but the tracks that I do in Logic, when I import them into Pro Tools, they just sound better. It's just something about the summing engine. I think that it just sounds better. I'm not sure why, but it just does, in my opinion.
I'm hoping that I can find.
Sorry, that's my 2 cents.
I'm hoping that I can find the full clip of that song before we close out. We've got about 15 minutes left in our show today.
The station is Metro FM. If I find the clip, as a matter of fact, I think it's on Facebook. Let me see if I can.
Oh yeah, if you find it, send it to me, and I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. But folks, enjoy this clip while we get everybody back on screen. Yes. We went and got extras. We got extras to join us, man. I'm gonna swap here. Wow. I want our 2 guests to be on the bottom there. I'm gonna put up everybody's names. There we go. Yes. We got some extras here, man.
They call this high cotton, man. When Pat Grant
exactly.
That's when you know it's high cotton.
Listen, it has been
my day.
It has been quite a show, and I'm gonna just let the folks who are watching right now know we might not end on time today. I'll just apologize to you in advance, but man, we got a lot of questions coming in the chat. First of all, Roby, John, thank you again for coming and sharing your expertise with us and sharing your stories, sharing those personal experiences. Man, it's just been phenomenal. But I want to see if we can get some of these questions here. Man, there's a number of them just saying, John, just go ahead and sing, brother. GP has this question here. He's saying, is it best to buy the Perpetual license for Pro Tools since the updates are less than good? What's your response to that one?
Here's my thing, and what's up, Jason Bolton? I see you, bro.
They say take your time.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer both of these because I'm gonna make it a two-parter quickly.
Okay.
Here's the issue I have with Avid, because I get a chance to talk to the guys out in Britain and also in California. Avid and Apple, they don't talk to each other when it comes to software and when it comes to OS. So when it comes to that perpetual license, for me, I still have my iLock because I don't want my stuff getting online and I gotta wait to get online to start mixing. Usually if I'm mixing, I'm offline because I don't have time to talk to people. So again, getting a perpetual license, I haven't gotten there yet because I'm still at the point where in Pro Tools 11, I don't need the license. I have mine and it's mine forever. I can keep mixing without anything happening.
There
when you start to upgrading from Pro Tools 10 to now, Pro Tools 12 to now what Pro Tools is 2020 something, there's so many things you need to have, but you need to have the latest OS, but the latest OS might not work together with your Melodyne or with your plugins. So you've got to spend a whole lot of time figuring out what works. So again, it's not just one program. And then let me answer this Studio One Pro Tools thing.
Yeah.
Next week, y'all need to watch the show How It All Works because he's got Shelton Morgan on. And Shelton Morgan has been lighting it up, mixing not only in Pro Tools and in Studio One. And like Ludwig said, the sonic quality has changed, John. It is something about the DAE engine about Pro Tools, but for some reason in mixing a lot of tracks, a lot of processing, Studio One has something right. I haven't figured it out yet, but they have something that's working. So between the two programs, I'm kind of like, will Studio One make me believer in 2021? Because again, I've been with Pro Tools since 1999, so it's kind of like a thing right now.
Got you.
Wow. Man, was there anything there that you wanted to touch, John?
Well, you know what?
Go ahead.
I leave those types of things to engineers like Roby and people who live in that space. As these software, I know guys who use Studio One to mix who've ditched Pro Tools. There's a producer engineer in the UK named James McMillan, who's a big Studio One guy, and he was a convert from Pro Tools.
Right.
I would say this, that two things you want to kind of pay attention to is features and sound. Obviously, at the end of the day, you want stuff to sound as good as it can possibly sound. And you got to be careful about hopping on every new upgrade, even in Pro Tools. Like I know guys who are Pro Tools guys, but they're on like version 8. You know what I mean? Because they're just like, hey, it works. It sounds great. They're not featured that I need in these later versions that really that are worth me spending all the money and the headache that it would cost, that I would need to upgrade. So I think you gotta
on GarageBand.
You said you want GarageBand?
Come on, talk Pat.
So that's So that's what I would say. Never upgrade in the middle of a project. Wait till you're done, or where you have time, because it's going to take some time to find all the bugs and the plugins that don't work and so on. But I love collaborating with engineers who spend time evaluating like Roby, who spend time listening to the software and can really weigh in as to the advantages or disadvantages. I see Anselin. It's funny. I love Logic. I hear them talking about Logic. I really do like Logic, but I just don't think it sounds as good as Pro Tools. Just the same tracks play flat, like just the summing engine. You can play it through the same interface, no EQ, just play it. And Logic has like a mid-rangey something going on.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't know what it is.
Now let me ask you guys though.
I was just gonna say we want to get Corel and Pat in here. Go ahead, Corel.
So is it Pro Tools HD or LE we're talking about? Just for the audience to know.
I'm comparing to Pro Tools HD.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the difference?
Roby, that's probably more a Roby question than I.
It's about processing power with that DAE engine. What can you handle with how many tracks? You know, if I'm mixing like a normal band for church, you're talking about 30-some tracks and maybe 48K. I'm not talking about that stuff. But we're talking about like stuff John's doing, live TV production with a lot of tracks, pre-produced and live, possibly orchestra, possibly choir. We're talking, 80 to 100 tracks we got to process.
Right.
We need the computer. Yeah, we need the computer and the processor to give what we needed to move fast. I don't want to have to be worrying about can the computer handle it or not.
Yeah. Pat, you've been quiet, man. I want to hear from you.
Well, I'm just happy to be here. Because I'll be honest with you, these three guys that I'm here with are giants to me. To
me as well.
So, guys, just let you know, 87, 88, 89 was my era of being in the recording studio with rap artists and, being able to know Wu-Tang and all of them before they were, so I'm looking at a different sound, Jim, but coming over into going to Oakwood actually changed my mentality. I started to work in Sound Cell with Doug Smith in Sound.
Let's go.
And I worked there for years, watching Brian McKnight 2-3 o'clock in the morning crank out hits, 700 songs just sitting up in a catalog somewhere, and that's where my love really jumped off. I remember and how I got to know you all because Roby followed me in the studio. I remember Doug always saying, "There's this guy, Pat. I don't know if you know him." By that time, I was already down in New York when he was telling me about you and your orchestration and putting things together. But how I knew John was through Brian McKnight has just sang on a Saturday evening at Oakwood. John came in playing David Foster's symphony sessions. I'm sorry, y'all, but if you don't know that, you know we're close to producing. So once I heard him on the keys start off the original David Foster, the beginning of symphony sessions, I was like, oh snap, we in a different era right here. That's how I knew who you were from there. Then I started to follow you coming out of 2003, 2004, and Anytime was my go-to song. I know it was religious, but it was my love song. So
hey, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
That was my song. I took that song Anytime and redid it and reversed it. And
anything
hip hop clip of it, but going backwards. It's actually flipping backwards of the end of. But I'm not going to be sued today. But, but I think, and then I've been over Corel and saw his setup down there in the studio. I think one of my biggest thing is, and I think a lot of people want to know this. I wrote with Oliver Marcel. We both do music together. But the two things that I wanted to say. One was I do use HD and Pro Tools because I'm a beginner. Let me explain why. Because when I'm writing orchestration, I'm doing it for each violin that's playing because I don't have the theory to know what firsts and seconds are going to be doing. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's the reason why I asked that question in the beginning, because should I go back and that's why I asked that question. Should I go back and learn how to do the theory for it instead of trying to figure out what's first, second violins, cellos, who's coming up on the bottom, so I need literally to put an orchestration together. I need 100 tracks. Whereas you guys need about 16 tracks, and you're good at where you are. I need a whole lot more than that in order for me to do it. Now, remember this also, you all are playing with real orchestration. That's real dudes at $90 and $100 an hour that y'all be playing with. Me, I'm going with the $4,000 software, East West, some of the best software that's out there, where it's going to take you a whole lot to try to figure out whether or not it's real or it's not. But I think my next thing would have been, I'm 50 now, and this is where I really want to be. That's what caught me, Kirk, when you got these two guys on. Roby did my album, my sleep album, and which is doing fairly well right now. My sleep album, I asked Roby to do a sleep hymn album for me, and people are going to sleep on that album. I just asked them, do not listen to that album while you drive.
While you're driving.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
You're gonna go to sleep, right? So honestly, with the three of you that's here, I'm kind of like, this is where I want to be. I've seen you both work with some big players, and one thing I want to be that dude that writes, but I can go to the grocery store and nobody's knocking me down. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about. I don't really care about Mike Jackson. I care about Bruce Sweeten, who made the microphone that he sang through. You know what I mean?
There you go.
So that's my whole concept. When I pick up an album, even your albums, I turn it over to see who was playing this and
come on
the other, and who was playing.
Thank you for man.
So for me, my whole life is more film scoring. I want to be the y'all ready?
Come on, talk to us.
I want to be the
Hans.
I want to be the Hans Zimmer.
I knew that's where you were gonna go.
I want to be the Hans Zimmer, and I mean, I got all Hans Zimmer albums.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
Yeah, and this guy, he's doing like, $4 or $5 million just to call his name. It's
the truth.
He can write a melody, can he? Yeah,
listen, man. Listen. I know. We asked the audience for a little bit more time, but we were right at that cutoff, and I want to make sure that I get to one or two quick questions here. Jason Bulgens, what are detailed differences between mixing and mastering? And I wanted to throw this out there to you guys as a final question. And Corel, please feel free to jump in here. I'm so glad you were able to take a moment out to join us this evening as well, man, because I knew you were in the comments, and I know this is an area of expertise for you as well. So glad that we were able to have all of you on here. Pat, you too, man. Listen, I mean, just from the intro that you gave just now, I'm like, wow, man, Pat, you're doing the thing, brother.
So I put on a turtleneck. I had on a shirt, right? So
right here to go change.
If I'm gonna jump on this, I gotta look like a musician. I gotta look like a producer.
Right.
All I have is my jacket.
Listen, man. Come as you are. I love the lights. Pat. But yeah, listen. This is the question. This is the question from. I mean, there's a lot of other comments in here, but it's mostly just kind of responding to you guys. And then some people are basically like, "How do I get all of these people in the same room to work on my project?" But yeah, Jason Bolden is just asking, and I want to throw this to everybody. Some differences that you see between mixing and mastering. Yeah, not everybody at the same time.
Well, let me go elementary. Since you guys are seriously, I really mean this. You guys put out stuff. I have the whole UA, Universal Audio. And again, this is not braggadocious. It's because I don't have the skill set. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I totally follow.
Don't have the skill set. You have to buy more on the other end. So my UA literally have if I made them into real mastering equipment, it would be $1 million worth of equipment. But studio wise, it's about $6,000 worth of software. So I could use those pieces of software. That's the reason why I don't really care much. This is for Roby, and I don't really care much about where it comes from. I like to know how it sounds when it gets out the end, or when it gets out of the end. So I don't really mind if it's Logic or if it's even though I'm Logic Pro Tools. Hold on, I'm Native Instruments, Logic, then Pro Tools. That's my line down. And for me, you got to get it right while you record, or the mastering is not gonna. It's not gonna. Once the toothpaste is out of the tube.
You can't put it back
in.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it from an amateur standpoint. From the amateur standpoint, I do a lot of lockstep stuff that's already set for certain things, and use my ear later on. And I hope to get that done. Get better at it as I go along, but mastering is what I use for tools that's already set out there.
Right. Yeah. Anybody else want to touch that thing? Differences between mixing and mastering.
Over the years, if everybody's been listening to what's been happening with your phones, things have been getting louder for me. I don't know if it's y'all, but with the Apple encoding, YouTube encoding, and all the different platforms, everything's been getting louder. But and John can attest to this. Recording overseas is a whole different animal. They look at things differently from a sonic perspective, as far as the room is concerned. So again, like you said, you got to record it right first. Yeah. Then once you start mixing and I have the right elements, to me, mastering is just like icing on the cake. Yeah. If it doesn't sound right in the first place, I'm not going to start mastering until I've taken care of every little tiny thing. Mastering is like the last step. Yeah. And just like you, Patrick, I've now turned into a Steven Slate guy. I use waves to mix and do a few things, but if I'm going to start mastering, I'll use some tape emulation, and then I'm into Steven Slate's because they've got a way to carve out the little things you can't do when you're listening to it sonically. So yeah, for me, I
wanted to sound like it's coming off of a 2-inch tape. You know what I mean?
And a lot of people are going that way now.
Well, know about that stuff. You want to make it sound like it's not digital anymore, like you playing it live. One of those.
So I'll say this, y'all. One of the biggest differences of mixing and mastering, right, is this. You have this big session that was done, and you may have a lot of parts and pieces that people may have played. But one of the biggest things for me is I got to watch AT actually work on a couple projects. And looking at how he just took a section and muted something and then brought it back later and told the story to the listener is key to the mixing process. And then you throw in all the processing on top to make things sit well and play nice with each other, right? Then the final product of that whole entire record that he worked on was mastered, and it just brought everything up to where it all sat nice and easy and level. Nice. Something was dynamic. It still had the dynamics, but it was just nice and loud enough to be equal to the other parts of the record. The louder songs had louder parts, but everything was consistent. And that's the difference between mixing and mastering.
And play it back in your vehicle. That's the place to play it back. If it doesn't sound good in your car, take it back. Take it back.
Every mixing environment, it should sound good on a boombox, your AirPods, on your Sony boombox that you got, Kirk.
There you go.
Right.
That's the Sony one the one I put in that video. My goodness. Listen, folks. I'm not gonna hold you no longer, man. I can't thank you guys enough for the gold that is the wisdom that we've received over the past hour. Some of the comments have lit up here. I need all these guys to work on my next project. Somebody said, there's nothing amateur about you, Pat, even though I'm new to all of you gentlemen, but I know the real deal when I hear it. Blessed to be here. Somebody says Slate is amazing. And there's a number of folks saying record it right. And I think that's a good takeaway for everybody. And listen, what better way to close this thing out than with a clip of John Stoddart singing this song. So I'm hoping that this is the one. I'm just playing it straight. I just grabbed it straight from the link you sent me, John. So I'm gonna play this. And
I don't know where that song is. I should have checked.
Is it anytime you playing?
Anything.
You say anytime. Anything? Is it anything?
It is.
All right, hold on. Let me grab my wife. Hold on. Go ahead. That joint might get crazy right about now. And I got on the stupid turtleneck. Oh man.
Here we go.
You're listening to the Romantic Repertoire with Saintler, the man behind the jams.
Here we go.
How do I get close to you when you seem so far away? What I wouldn't give to talk to you face to face. I have to keep believing that it won't be very long till the day I can look up and it won't be a dream. Chains breaking all around me, I can finally be free. So if you're wondering what you mean to me, you've changed my whole reality, and nothing in this world can take my heart, 'cause I'd do anything for you. I'd do anything. If you want to ask me to, I'd do anything. Anything just to be with you. How do I keep getting up every time I fall down? Such a strange kind of walking with my feet up off the ground. But I'm not giving up, oh no, no, till I make it back home, where I know you'll be waiting with your arms open wide. Oh, oh, what a day for reunions when we meet up in the sky. Somehow I know it will be worth it all, these tears I cry, the times I fall, 'cause you made yourself so very real to me that I'd do anything, anything for you. I'd do anything, yes I would. If you want to ask me to, I'd do anything, anything just to be with you. And I'd go anywhere, yeah. If I could be right by your side, give up everything, just to look into your eyes. I'd do anything, anything just to be with you. I'm waiting for the day when we can fly away. Promise me you'll live inside my heart, my heart. Oh, I would do anything, anything for you. I'd do anything, yes I would. If you want to ask me to, I'd do anything, just to be with you. And I would go, I'd go anywhere, if I could be right by your side. And I'd give up everything, if I could look into your eyes. I would do anything, oh, I would do anything to be, if I could just be with you. I would do anything, anything, anything. I would do anything, oh, just to be with you. And I would go, I'd go anywhere, yeah, if I could be right by your side. Give up everything, I could look into your eyes. I would do anything, oh, If you only ask me to, I'd do anything just to be with you. I'd go anywhere. I could be right by your side, give up everything just to look into your eyes. I'd do anything. Oh, anything. I'd do anything.
Woo! Wow. Let me just say the link to John Stoddart's website is in the description of this video on YouTube. So I saw somebody say in the chat that they'd never heard the song before. We want to make sure that you can get your hands on it. johnstoddart.com. Go there and make a purchase. Beautiful song. Folks, we are out of time for today. I mean, we got nothing but fire. Wouldn't you just want to be a fly on the wall in the afterlife? Listen, this is what we've got coming up next week. Two more Philly boys.
Yes, that's right.
Shannon, Austin, and Shelton Morgan. We're gonna get down next week. Talking about live production, man. This is gonna be a treat. We are closing out the month of November, our audio production month, with these two gentlemen, and this is gonna be a power-packed episode, just like this one was. Somebody asked me the question, man, like, hey, Kirk, man, we need to know what you're doing. Where are you going to be at? Listen, if you got some time tomorrow, is it tomorrow? Let me look at this thing, the 18th. No, that's not tomorrow. If you got some time on Wednesday, man, 2 to 3 p.m., I'll be talking about live streaming with the Lake Union Conference, and Paul Young is going to be the host of that discussion from Lake Region Conference. So come join us. We'll be streaming on at Lake Union Herald. So come join us for that conversation. Man, this has been an absolute pleasure to be here with you today, to close this thing out, to have these guests with us. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you'll join us again next week, 5:30 Central Standard Time, 6:30 in the East, 3:30 in the West. And again, we hope that somewhere in the course of the program, somewhere in the descriptions of their individual workflow for music production, that you are able to peek behind the veil a little bit, connect the dots and put some pieces together. Essentially, we are hoping that you're able to figure out how it all works. And we'll see you in the next video.
How it all works.
Come on.
How it